Good morning. I know. The voice, it's bad today. Thank goodness for the tiny mic. You'll be able to hear me. Good morning, good morning. I'm just going to apologize right out of the gate for the horrible voice this morning. This sort of happened yesterday, so thank goodness for the tiny mic. Thank goodness for the tiny mic. I do need colors. We need multicolored tiny mics. We need a stand. We need so much. We need so much. Welcome to Energize Live this morning, Friday morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're gonna have a man voice this morning, and that is gonna be good morning, Christina. Christina, you and I are in Florida, and do you have your heat on? You probably don't because you're 3 hours from me, but I turned my heat on this morning. Like, what? I'm also out in the garage just because felt appropriate to be out here after I finished my workout this morning. So we're going to excuse the man voice this morning. Welcome to Energize Live. And if you were with me on Wednesday, you know that we've started this series now, heavy sweater, now through the end of the year, all around thriving through the holidays. And if you have not watched Wednesday's Energize Live, I encourage you, go back and watch it. It was pretty powerful. And we're just kind of kicking off this idea of we don't have to survive through the holiday season. And a lot of women tend to do that. And a lot of women will be martyrs and will do it when we don't have to. And we make the whole health and wellness practice so much harder than it has to be. And you know I'm on a mission. I'm really, really passionate about helping you thrive all the time, but really helping you thrive now. These 6 weeks, these 2 months, November and December, because I spent a lot of years not. I spent a lot of years struggling with disordered eating, and I think I can talk about that more now because I'm further away from it. I didn't talk about it for a long time, and my girls and I have all walked through it. I think if you're a female on this planet, you've probably walked through it in some way. And if you think you haven't, you're fooling yourself because you have in some way. And I'm far enough away from it now that I can talk about it more easily. And I'm far enough away from it now because I've worked really hard to thrive during the holidays. And because I want to share some of those tips with you. Okay, tell me this though. I can hear like my air conditioner like popping on outside. I'm out in the garage. Can you hear that? And is that bothering the sound? And if so, then I'm going to move. But you tell me what you can hear. Maybe you can only hear my manly voice, and that's okay. And that's okay. So to dig a little deeper into our Thrive During the Holiday series, we have a special guest speaker this morning. Okay, good. You can't hear it. That's awesome. Okay, good. You could just hear my man voice. That's awesome. We have a special guest speaker today, and I asked her to come on, not just because she has a new tool that we can put in our toolbox starting next month, but because I had the pleasure of hearing her speak on Monday on a mastermind call. The Phoebe voice. And Tiny Mike for the win is right. I had the pleasure of hearing her speak on Monday on a mastermind call, and she spoke so beautifully and articulately about the trigger that most people have and what causes so many people to get sideways on their health and wellness practice, especially this time of year. So I'm like, please come on and talk to the Energize Live family about this idea and about this trigger and what we can do, and some tools and some plans, because I really believe the reason I can talk about some of my struggles now, the reason I can help you thrive during the holiday season, is because I found the two pieces that I was missing so much during the hardest seasons of my life, and that's a plan and a community. So I'm going to see if I can figure out I think you have to request. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do this on my end. But I think if you request to. Okay, wait. I did you. See if that shows up.
Yay!
Yay! It worked. You never know.
Hello, good
You never
morning.
know. I'm going to have to undo my tiny mic though. I think otherwise I don't think I can hear you. So tiny mic's going to have to go away for a minute because I don't think I can hear you. But we really want to hear you and not me. So hold please. Okay, now I can hear you. I'm going to turn you on.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, the tiny mic. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let me back a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Megan Davies. If you don't know Megan Davies, she is one of the coolest humans that you'll ever meet. And I had the pleasure of listening to her speak on a mastermind on Monday. And we were, of course, we're talking about Megan's new program that's coming out in December. But deeper than that, Megan, I just really loved how you talked about what triggers most people to kind of get sideways off their health and fitness practice. And I thought it was so good. And I wondered if you would share that with people this morning.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me because, I mean, honestly, like you said, it's not just the holiday season, right? Like, it's all year round that whenever somebody decides, like, man, I really got to get back to my health, my wellness, my fitness, they take on so much. All of a sudden they go from zero where we've been, I mean, I won't say zero. We're working, we are busy people, right? So we already have a lot on our plate, but we go from zero maybe we're not working out consistently in our day-to-day lives to all of a sudden, man, I want to work out every single day. And I'm going to meal prep. I'm not only going to meal prep, but I am going to be all of a sudden a gourmet chef every single meal that needs to come out, like, and it needs to look like Pinterest. And it's like, we put this plan in place that is so over the top. I'm like, who can deal with this plan? I can't deal with this plan. And so something has to give, right? We all, like I said, are busy and have busy lives. So the worst case scenario is we put all this on our plate and then we're juggling all of these things. The holidays are hitting, things are starting to fall. And then we turn to ourselves, worst of all, and say, wow, I'm just making excuses. I'm not doing enough. And this is all me. And I'm being lazy and I could do more, but I'm just not doing more. And I'm like, oh, you just put so much on your plate. Like, no, that's not what this is about. Like, how about we determine what these obstacles are instead and figure out how to navigate those obstacles? And I always go back to simplicity, right? Like, I go back to how can we make this meal plan a lot more simple? Like, when people ask me what I eat, I'm like, it's a piece of chicken, it's some vegetable, it's a healthy carb, it's maybe a good fat. Like, it's the most basic. And half the time I'm not even trying to season it with any fancy things or anything. I'm just like, the piece of chicken is good, the sweet potato is good. So I go back to super simple, and I go back to whatever I can do. And if that's working out 5 days a week that week, great. But probably next week, as we hit Thanksgiving, maybe we go down to 3 days a week, and maybe I go for a walk with my family after Thanksgiving dinner. Like, and that's how I add movement into my week. And I don't have to beat myself up over not showing up every single day, but I can still plan what is going to work for me and then work around that.
Yeah, it's so interesting how, first of all, here it is November, what is today? November 18th. And there are probably people on this Instagram Live right now who have some health and fitness goals or just some pieces that they want to achieve, ways that they want to feel better. And you and I both know there are people right now on this video who will wait till January 1st to start it. And then they will say, okay, now I'm going to work out for 2 hours a day. I'm going to eat lettuce. I'm going to drink water. And I'm going to sleep for 12 hours. I mean, I used to see this when I worked, in the gym, and I would teach group exercise. I'm like, well, none of that's going to happen. And by Tuesday, after you started it, you're done. So yeah. Why is it, do you think, like all your experience, training, owning a bricks and mortar, doing online fitness, why is it, number one, people wait, and number two, they decide to do all the things at once? Is there a reason? What have you discovered?
I think it's this idea of perfectionism. I think that's the idea that maybe, and maybe we're guilty of it as the fitness community, as pushing out this idea that, maybe there is some level of perfectionism, because there's truly not. Like, if I tell people that I work out all the time, at least 5 days a week, and I never miss, like that would be a lie. If I tell people that I'm never missing on my meal plan, that would be a lie. So it truly is, I think, part of it, just the fitness, community, maybe perpetuating this.
Yeah.
And also, we always tend to put this on ourselves, and I'm not really sure why. It's something I talk to people all the time about. I see somebody saying it's that all or nothing mentality, which is so true. And what I always say is you're far more likely to get nothing than all with that all or nothing mentality.
Ooh,
Because
that's good.
we
Ooh, I feel like that should be a shirt.
exactly, because you take all of it on, and like I said, these are not lazy people. I've never once dealt with a lazy person in my entire career wanting to make a change in their life. They all have busy things. They all have a whole life going on, and now they're trying to fit this on top of it. And so you're more likely to get all or nothing than all if you try to go all in like that. But if you come up with a reasonable plan, hey, next week while Thanksgiving is going on, I can reasonably move 3 times for 30 minutes and maybe go on a walk those other days. I can reasonably do that and ask my family to come on with me, because I always say it's about, like you said at the beginning of this call, that community as well. So the online community is great, and especially if you don't have that support at home, then this is what this is about, is being on this call right now, right here, and connecting with people that are on the same path as you. But I always say getting the people on board at home as well, trying to get them to move for 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Because if somebody else is waking up in the morning and going, hey, we got to get this done real quick, like it's a lot easier to be like, all right, we're going to do it together, when you have your family on board at home too.
Oh my gosh, I would have given my right arm if I would have had a community back in the day, you know? It was always like it was just me. And people say a lot to me because my daughters are older. I have 3 daughters, for anyone who might not know. People say, oh my gosh, how'd you get your daughters to work out with you? I'm like, well, I just worked out.
Right.
So this is just what we do. And we all do something different, but we don't have to do this exact same workout, because the last thing I need to do is, like, people are like, oh, do you work out with your husband? I'm like, hell no. The last thing I want to do is work out with him making his noises in the gym. Like, absolutely not. But we all have fitness as part of just sort of our daily habits. And I saw someone post on here in the comments, I just want to maintain, through the holidays. Listen, that's not a small goal. Like, please don't discount. I just want to maintain. I think we glorify the big transformations. And I tell my coaching team, I'm like, please go back and try to find a before and after of me. There's a before and after of me, but it's not that much physical. And I think we downplay that consistency. Like, I just want to maintain. Girl, that's hard.
Yes.
And worthy. And that's awesome. And please don't downplay that.
Yes.
Don't downplay that. So I love the idea about the plan, and like kind of making a plan going into the holidays, and having that and making that realistic, and making that sustainable. Nikki says, I'm holding the line for the holidays. I like that. I'm just holding the line.
Yes.
The holidays. That's really good. Let's talk a little bit about this tool that you've created that's coming into existence next month, because it really plays into the idea of, can we make habits sustainable for life, not just something we do for now? Because you spoke a little bit about that on Monday, and maybe you could talk about that too, that idea of having a deeper why, and not just it is valuable to want to maintain. It is also okay to want to, feel good for a wedding or a graduation or whatever. However, there's something a little deeper that probably needs to happen. So if you could talk about that a little bit, I think that'd be super valuable. And then we'll talk about the tool that you've created that might help people do that too.
Yeah, I think the aesthetic goals are great, whatever that is for people. I'm constantly, my entire life, I'll be trying to put more muscle on my body. So, whether it is to gain muscle, whether it is to lose fat, those aesthetic goals are fine to have. Like you said, if it's a wedding that you're going for, or a certain like end goal in mind. But we also have to keep in mind that we are training for life. And I mean this in 2 different ways. We're training for life, like literally we're trying to find that consistency over the long term for life, and we're also trying to train for life, as in for our lives, for ourselves. So like having that consistency every single day is going to build. When I take a look at 1 week, I might see 10 places that I failed during that week when it comes to health and fitness. But if I take a look over the past 20 years of me starting weight training 20 years ago, I can be like, man, I was pretty dang consistent over that last 20 years. Even if I missed an entire month at times, or more than that, or maybe if there was periods of time for several months where I wasn't like meal prepping and doing all the things, when I take a look over the past 20 years, I've been pretty dang consistent. And that's what it means to be training for life, to have that consistency through life. So when you're going through week to week, start focusing on the things that you're doing right instead of all the things that you're doing wrong. There's always going to be both that are happening at the same time. We're not going to do everything perfectly, as we've been talking about. So if you can count all the things that you're doing right during the week, all that stuff's going to add up over the next 20 years. And that's what you can really look back on and say, I really was consistent in doing the best that I could for myself and taking care of myself.
Yeah, and think about that training for life really resonated with a lot of people. I think about that, especially parents with children, whatever age they are. Like, especially as my girls get older, the minute someone says, hey, let's hike this, let's do this, I want to make sure that I can do that. I'm training for that. And if you have younger children, maybe they're out running, they're at the park, they're whatever, the last thing you want to be is out of breath and just feeling yucky in your body, and you can't keep up with your kids like that. They're seeing that makes you feel worse. So this idea of just training for sustainable life habits, rather than just training for this short period of time, where I think that's where people get a little sideways.
And I like what you said about your kids can see that, because I always say, and the whole reason that I started training at a young age and that my family got on board in the first place was literally because I looked at my parents and I thought, man, at one point my dad did love sports and he did love to be active, and now he's not doing those things for himself. So literally it took me starting to work out and then turning to my dad and saying, Daddy, I feel so sorry for you. And it had nothing to do with his weight at the time. It was that your kids can see you. And just like you want more for them, they want more for you. They don't want you to be stressed out of your mind all the time and digging into yourself into the ground, trying to do everything. And they know that you're trying to show up for them. But if they could know that, man, you need a little bit of time at some point in the day to take care of yourself, they'd be like, yeah, I want you to do that, because they want more for you too. So when we take on so much because we think that we're giving back to our kids by doing everything, it's like, no, your kids want more for you too. And to take a step back and take care of you is also caring for them.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And let's just say it, that the moms on here, are you listening to her? Are you listening to what she's saying? Because you putting your kids first and not taking care of you is doing no one any favors. You're doing no one any favors, most of all yourself, because your kids are watching that, then they grow up and see that. And I know that the reason why my girls have fitness and health as part of their practice is because they've seen us just have fitness and health as part of their practice. And it's just part of your life. And I'm sure Megan, you and I get up every morning. There are days when we're like, I don't really want to do this workout. And it has nothing to do with whether I'm motivated to do this workout. It has to do with that's my habit, and that's part of what I do every day. And your children also see that. That's an important lesson for them to see as well, that sometimes we do things we don't want to do because what we want is the end result, or what we want is how we feel on the other side of that. And that can be whether it's a workout, whether it's a job, it doesn't matter. Who wants to do laundry? Not this girl, not me, but we do things that we don't want to do, and that includes our health and fitness practice. So I think that's really important for people to remind themselves all the time that someone's watching you, whether it's your kids or not. Someone's watching you. Let's talk a little bit about Sure Thing and what you created and how it's coming out. And it is coming out on what we call Beachbody on Demand, and it's also then we'll be segueing into Body. And I think most people who are probably on this call understand that we've made a name change, and it's been Team Beachbody for 20 plus years. I've been partnering with Team Beachbody for 14 and a half, 14, my entire life, it feels like 14 and a half years. I've been partnering with Team Beachbody and sharing their products or programs and building a business through it. And it's a big deal to change a name. It's a big deal, you know. It'd be a big deal like if Starbucks decided we're just going to be called Star from now on. Like it would be a big deal.
Right.
So it's a big deal, but it's a big deal because of what it stands for. So I know you talked a little bit about this when, last month at Leadership in Arizona. What does this name change mean for you, especially as you're releasing this program?
Yeah, we created Sure Thing, and I always go back to why I started working out in the first place, and it truly was never to beat myself up or anything like that, or, to punish myself for food I ate or anything like that. And so I've always, since I started doing fitness as a profession, wanted to kind of bring that mindset to other people of this truly can be because we want to train for life, and we just want to be the strongest, best selves that we can be as we move forward. So like I always say, aesthetic goals are fine, and I want you to have whatever goal it is for you. But as I look to the name like Beachbody to Body, especially for me, because I was a figure and fitness competitor for a long time, 13 years. And I think Beachbody kind of came with this connotation, like there was this certain goal that we're all trying to hit, and if we don't get there, then we're not successful. When in reality, I mean, I tell people all the time, when I was doing figure and fitness competitions, I got to the point where my body fat was too low. I talked about this on a call last night, where my hair was falling out, where my cycle was messed up because my body fat was getting too low, and I'm trying to compete on stage, and I'm like, well, how am I going to get lower if my hair's falling out? And I was told by other competitors, well, of course your hair is going to fall out. Your body fat's that low. Like, this is what we do. And so when I look back at that, I don't want to create that ideal of you have to have like a six pack and be super, super lean. And some people naturally are without any negative impact to their body. So that's okay too. But I don't want to create this ideal standard for especially young women that they have to have a certain look if they truly are in health and fitness, because we know that not to be true. We know that even if you're moving your body and having some sort of awareness about what you're putting into your body with food, that is already going to have amazing effects on your health and your fitness and your longevity in life. So, even if we're moving at any size, if we're moving and we're somewhat conscious about what we're eating, we're going to have great effects. And so that's why I love that name, from Beachbody to Body, because now it includes every body.
Yeah, and I think the context behind it, like the acknowledgement and awareness that if you are in the health and fitness space in any way, including me, including all of us in the health and wellness space, we participated in that conversation in some way. Not, I would say 98% of people not intentionally, but just being part of that industry, you kind of participated in that conversation. And I've wanted to change that conversation for a long time. I know you want to change that conversation into let's feel our best so we can live our best. I don't really care what your scale says. I don't really care what you look like. I really care what you feel like. And that's going to include daily movement and habits and doing stuff that you want to sometimes, and making better nutritional decisions, getting a plan and getting a community around you. Because I can tell you, there have probably been seasons in my life where the scale said I weighed less, but I was super unhappy. Like you, I was super unhappy. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a community. I was walking through disordered eating. I was super anxious. And why would we want to, that's not healthy. That's not something we want to sustain. So people engaged with a plan and a community to create these sustainable habits for life, that becomes the context of Body, which I'm so here for. I'm so here for it.
Same.
Okay, talk to us a little bit about Sure Thing before we wrap up, and tell us when it comes out and all the things.
So I'm so excited. We're finally here. The sample workout already dropped on Monday for Sure Thing. So you can find that on BOD, on Vimeo, on a bunch of different platforms for free. And so Sure Thing is an 8-week program. And it's 5 days a week. Like I said, especially through this holiday season, if you get 3 days a weekend, I'm so excited and I'm so happy for you. Would I like you to do the program in its entirety? Yes. If that's not this season, then you do what you can do. So it's 5 days a week. It's 8 weeks. We are following the new body block format, which means we are going for 3 weeks, that 5 days a week. And then we have 1 week of functional recovery where you get 2 extra rest days. You back off just a little bit. Anybody in my test group will tell you we're working just as hard during that week with a little bit more rest and a little bit more mobility added in as well. So you're still going to be strength training in that week. And it comes out on December 6th for the body coaches and their preferred customers. And then on December 20th, all of their customers can access the early access for sure thing. And then beginning of January, I'm going to be starting a big bod group where everybody can start together, and I'm going to be leading you guys through it. So I'm just very, very excited for you guys to start checking this program out.
So earlier this year, you did a group not really associated with the program.
Yes.
You want to talk about
yeah. So my first group started in June. They've gone through 3 cycles of it now. And now I've had another group go through it one time. They literally are ending today. So we've seen all kinds of amazing results. And I've been telling them, I'm like, I want them to share what they're most proud of. If that's a before and after picture, you guys are going to see it. But I said also include that journey of what happened from the before picture to the after picture, because it doesn't just happen like that. It's not a lighting trick or anything like that where they take 2 pictures. It truly was a lot of hard work that went in from before picture to after picture. So I was just like, include that story in how you're sharing with people, because it is so powerful. You have been working so hard. And so we've seen strength gains, fat loss, confidence gains, like the mental health benefits are huge in this program. And so all the way around, the health benefits, I've seen cholesterol medication lower, their A1Cs are coming back down. So I am very, very proud of this program and what it's done for people, and seeing people go through the test group has been the best part for sure.
That's incredible. And I want people to really understand that as we shift into this new conversation around health and wellness, this is not about not having befores and afters. It's not about not having physical results. It's about broadening the conversation to include wherever you are on your health and fitness practice, so that it's not solely about a before and after picture. It's about a before and in progress life. It's wherever you are. So it's not excluding people who want the before and after. It's actually including everyone in this journey wherever you are, because we know that I don't care whether it's the holidays or just any season in your life, if you can get a plan for movement, a plan for nutrition, and a community in your life, you will stay on track 100 times over than not having those things. And probably all of us on here right now have experienced seasons or are experienced seasons where we haven't had those pieces, and no wonder we don't feel good. Right. No wonder we don't feel good. And as soon as we get a plan for our movement, a plan for our nutrition, and we get a community that supports that, everything changes. And it becomes a habit instead of, well, let me just wake up and see if I feel like it today. No, nobody wakes up and sees if they feel like it today.
So true.
Is there anything else that you want to share with all these awesome humans on our Energize Live this morning that they might hear as they
going back
to the holidays?
Yeah, just going back to thriving through the holidays. One of the things I shared last time I saw you on stage was to have a little bit more compassion for yourself during this time of the year too. So many times I see somebody go up like a pound in weight and they're sitting there beating themselves up. And what I literally said on stage last time I saw you was something that my brother said to one of our clients, which was, you are not a block of wood. We are not chopping a piece off and all of a sudden you are this new size and weight for the rest of your life. You are a human. You have ebbs and flows and water weight changes and fat changes and muscle changes. And that is going to be a normal part of life. So as you go through this season, this holiday season, give yourself some grace and some compassion because you are a human that is going to go through changes. and you are doing your very, very best. So it's not about the scale. It is about how you're feeling during this holiday season, having more energy to truly spend time with the ones that you love. So that's what it really should be about.
And next week, you might be around ones that you don't love so much. I'm just saying there could be family members that you don't love so much. Guess what? That's when you need to work out even more, okay? You need to work out even more. You need to work out maybe twice just so you can handle the ones that you don't love quite as much.
Very true.
Do not go eat extra pie. Actually go work out a little bit more when you are around those ones, because then then you're not around them. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying from experience. I'm just saying that you might have that. So, Megan, this is so much fun. I'm so glad that you could come on. Thanks for being on bright and early with us this morning at 7:30 as we're out here cold in Florida. I know no one feels sorry for us, but it is a little bit chilly here. I had the heat on this morning, so.
Wow, I have to see how chilly it is outside. I haven't been outside or seen the weather yet. Now I'm nervous. But you're much further north than me, so we'll see.
I know. I woke up and I'm like, I'm sorry, I need the heat. What is happening right now? This is why I moved to Florida, so I don't need to have it on, but it's all good. It's all good. So Sure Thing comes out in December. If you are watching this and you are connected with a coach, please go connect with your coach and get connected with Sure Thing. The sample workout is available for everyone. You're going to fall in love with Megan. If this is the first time that you're meeting her, of course you can tell you're going to fall in love with her. You're going to want to hang out with her for 8 weeks, and that sample workout is free and available to anyone. You don't have to have an account. You don't have to do it. You can just try it and love it. If you're connected to a coach, go back, connect with that coach and tell them, listen, I need a plan. I need a community. I need to make my health a sure thing. I need to get connected with this program and connect with them. If you're not connected with a coach, find one that you resonate with, and talk to them about making these habits a sure thing, because you're going to feel so much better in the holidays. And we want you to thrive, not just survive. So go make it an awesome weekend. Make sure that you tag Megan. Tell her thank you. Go love on Megan today for showing up today for Energize Live. Have an awesome weekend, everyone.
Bye, guys.